Today we discuss Chapter 3, which deals with demand, supply, and market equilibrium. In order to analyze input markets and output markets, we use the circular flow. The circular flow of economic activity shows how firms and households interact in input and output markets. In the circular flow diagram, goods and services flow clockwise. Firms provide goods and services, households supply labor services. Payments, usually money, flow in the opposite direction, counterclockwise, as the flow of labor services, goods, and services. Let's consider demand in product/output markets. A household's decision about the quantity of a particular output to demand depends on the price of the product in question and the income available to the household. There are 4 other components to decide demand. They are the household's amount of accumulated wealth and the prices of other products, substitutes and complements available to the household. The household's tastes and preferences and, finally, the household's expectations about future income, wealth, and prices. Quantity demanded is the amount, number of units, of a product that a household would buy in a given time period if it could buy all it wanted at the current market price. The most important relationship in individual markets is that between market price and quantity demanded. We need to make distinction between changes in quantity demanded versus changes in demand. We use the ceteris paribus or all else equal device to examine the relationship between the quantity demanded of a good per period of time and the price of that good, while holding income, wealth, other prices, tastes, and expectations constant. Changes in price affect the quantity demanded per period. Changes in income, wealth, other prices, tastes, or expectations affect demand. A demand schedule is a table showing how much of a given product a household would be willing to buy at different prices. Demand curves are usually derived from demand schedules. The demand curve is a graph illustrating how much of a given product a household would be willing to buy at different prices. The law of demand states that there is a negative, or inverse, relationship between price and the quantity of a good demanded and its price. This means that demand curves slope downward. A change in demand is not the same as a change in quantity demanded. A higher price causes lower quantity demanded and a move along the demand curve. Changes in determinants of demand, other than price, cause a change in demand, or a shift of the entire demand curve, from D to dB. To summarize, change in price of a good or service leads to change in quantity demanded. Movement along the curve. Change in income, preferences, or prices of other goods or services leads to change in demand, shift of curve. Higher income decreases the demand for an inferior good. Higher income increases the demand for a normal good. When price of hamburger rises, quantity of hamburger demanded per month falls. The change in price of hamburger results in the impact of a change in the price of related goods. First, demand for complement good, ketchup, shifts left. Second, demand for substitute good, chicken, shifts right. Demand for a good or service can be defined for an individual household, or for a group of households that make up a market. Market demand is the sum of all the quantities of a good or service demanded per period by all the households buying in the market for that good or service. Assuming there are only two households in the market, market demand is derived as horizontal sum of two households. You have 5 minutes to read summary, pages 67 to 68, and then, there will be a short quiz. Answer the following questions. 6. What is the law of supply? What influences the quantity supplied of a good? What are the features of a supply curve? How do supply curves illustrate the law of supply? What factors can cause the supply of a product to change, and how are these changes reflected in the supply curve? 7. What is the equilibrium price for a product? What do we mean by a shortage? A surplus? 8. How do changes in the supply or demand for a product affect its equilibrium price and quantity? Answer to number 6. The law of supply states that, all else being equal, an increase in the price of a good will cause an increase in quantity supplied. This means that supply curves are positively sloped. A change in price causes a movement along the supply curve and a change in quantity supplied. A change in other factors affecting producers, such as production costs, technology, or the price of goods related in production, can cause a change in supply and a shift in the supply curve. An increase in supply shifts the supply curve to the right. A decrease in supply shifts the supply curve to the left. Answer to number 7. The equilibrium price for a product is the price at which the demand and supply curves intersect, meaning the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied at that price are equal. In competitive markets, prices that are higher than the equilibrium price will result in a surplus, excess supply, and the market price will fall. When the market price is lower than the equilibrium price, a shortage, excess demand, will exist and the market price will rise. The equilibrium price is stable under existing demand and supply conditions. Answer to number 8. Changes in supply or demand will cause changes in both the equilibrium price and quantity. An increase in supply will cause a lower price and a greater quantity, and a decrease in supply will cause a higher price and a smaller quantity. An increase in demand will cause a higher price and a greater quantity, and a decrease in demand will cause a lower price and a smaller quantity. Supply decisions depend on profit potential. Profit is the difference between revenues and costs. Quantity supplied represents the number of units of a product that a firm would be willing and able to offer for sale at a particular price during a given time period. A supply schedule is a table showing how much of a product firms will supply at different prices. A supply curve is a graph illustrating how much of a product a firm will supply per period of time at different prices. The The law of supply states that there is a positive relationship between price and quantity of a good supplied. This means that supply curves typically have a positive slope. The price of the good or service. The cost of producing the good, which in turn depends on the price of required inputs, labor, capital, and land. The technologies that can be used to produce the product. The prices of related products. A higher price causes higher quantity supplied, and a move along the demand curve. A change in determinants of supply other than price causes an increase in supply, or a shift of the entire supply curve, from SA to SB. As with market demand, market supply is the horizontal summation of individual firms' supply curves. Market equilibrium is the condition that exists when quantity supplied and quantity demanded are equal. At equilibrium, there is no tendency for the market price to change. Only in equilibrium is quantity supplied equal to quantity demanded. At any price level other than P0, such as P1, quantity supplied does not equal quantity demanded. Excess demand, or shortage, is the condition that exists when quantity demanded exceeds quantity supplied at the current price. When quantity demanded exceeds quantity supplied, price tends to rise until equilibrium is restored. Excess supply, or surplus, is the condition that exists when quantity supplied exceeds quantity demanded at the current price. When quantity supplied exceeds quantity demanded, price tends to fall until equilibrium is restored. Higher demand leads to higher equilibrium price and higher equilibrium quantity. Higher supply leads to lower equilibrium price and higher equilibrium quantity. Lower demand leads to lower price and lower quantity exchange. Lower supply leads to higher price and lower quantity exchange. The relative magnitudes of change in supply and demand determine the outcome of market equilibrium. When supply and demand both increase, quantity will increase, but price may go up or down. Review questions. Look at demand and supply curve of a good. Use figure 4. 5. A. Is $48 a price ceiling or a price floor? B. Is there a shortage or a surplus? C. How much is it? 6. A. Is $30 a price ceiling or a price floor? B. Is there a shortage or a surplus? C. How much is it? Fill in blanks on the following questions. 1. A. N. Underscore 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 is one that consumers buy more of when their income increases. 2. The underscore 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 states that there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded, ceteris paribus. 3 underscore 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 states that there is a direct relationship between the price and the quantity supplied, ceteris paribus. 4. A movement along a stationary supply curve in response to a change in price is called a n underscore 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 underscore. 5. The unique price and quantity established at the intersection of the supply and demand curves is called underscore 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 underscore. 6. A n underscore 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 is one that there is an inverse relationship between changes in income and its demand curve. 7. When the price of a good is greater than the equilibrium price, there is an excess quantity supplied called a n underscore 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 underscore. 8. A market condition existing at any price where the quantity supplied is less than the quantity demanded is a n underscore 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 underscore.